Hello, and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Today's podcast number 2198, and I'm joined with Meredith today.
Hello.
Yes, 2198 of these things.
That's wild.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Closing in on 2200.
That's insane.
That's a lot of talking.
A whole lot of talking.
Yes. You've also done a whole lot of dieting.
It feels like 2,198 days of dieting.
Yes. So, in total, we're 2 weeks out from Nationals right now. We dieted for 24 weeks to the first show. Then we did a show a week later. Then we've had like 2 weeks. I think it's been 27 total weeks that you've been dieting.
Yeah. It'll be around 30 by the show.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool. Like, that's a long time during the year to be attentive to, like, your calorie totals. Like, we normally pay attention to our food, but in, like, regular life, when we're not prepping for a competition, we don't track our calories, like, this closely, and you certainly don't eat this narrow scoped of food choices.
No.
Yes. We tend to be highly repetitive eaters, naturally, but if we wanted a little bit of something different here or there, it would happen more frequently than it's happening now.
Correct, because there's no variation.
Yeah, not really. No. We varied when we travel from time to time because you kind of have to, but that's not our normal thing.
Right.
Yeah, on a contest prep, it would be, I don't think you're going to find any research about the consistency of food and the impact that has on body fat levels in regards to it being separate from calories. So typically when people do research, they track calories and then like fat loss. But I have found that when people eat the same foods in diet prep, the more consistent their food is, the more consistent the body is, and then therefore you get more of a consistent kind of results from week to week, and then you know better how to adjust things along the way. Yeah. If people's food is a little bit all over the place, you have different water retention rates, different digestion rates. There's a lot more variability to the experience, so therefore it's harder to know exactly what to chase down and change when you're looking for making progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you always dieted using like highly repetitive foods?
Oh. I'd say yes.
Yeah. Can you think of an example? Anything like any diet come to mind?
I mean, the last show was highly repetitive. I'm trying to think of like when I've tried to diet to lose weight. When I did Weight Watchers, it wasn't really repetitive, but it was because this is a very tough question because I like the same foods every day.
Yes.
So it's even if I'm dieting, I'm going to find a routine I like. Yeah.
And I'm very similar. Like when I've dieted before, like I've done a couple diets where I lost 50 pounds in 10 weeks or less.
Oh my God. Wasn't it just like chicken and...
Yeah, the one diet that stands out to me is it was ground turkey and brown rice with marinara sauce because I don't like it. But that's what I had every meal every day. That was the only food I ate for 8 weeks, and I lost 50 pounds. And the reason why I chose that is I wouldn't overindulge because I didn't like it.
Right.
So I was like, this is the only thing I can eat if I'm hungry. This is the only option I have. Ground turkey, brown rice, and marinara sauce. But what worked well was you needed enough for like sustenance to maintain life, but I didn't want anything above that. Yeah. So it worked really well. So I'm very repetitive to the point of eating the same food, like literally the same 3 food items.
Yeah.
But in regular life, I'll have maybe tuna and rice for breakfast, chicken and rice at dinner. So a lot of rice. But that's pretty much what I have all the time.
Yeah, we both just eat the same foods all the time.
But if I ever wanted something different, I would. Like if we ever wanted, I don't know, sweet potato fries for dinner one night, we would have that and not think anything of it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like the structure on dieting because it to me, mentally it feels easier to recognize I don't have choice. Like I've made my choice to do the diet and get lean.
And that's why I like it. It's like one less thing to think about that day.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. That's why I forget exactly, but I think like It was Steve Jobs wore like jeans and a certain T-shirt like every day
Yeah,
because he
black-
just didn't want to waste
black
time thinking of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is a thing called decision fatigue that is like has been researched and studied. Is every day you only have a certain amount of basically give a shit to your decisions. So you have to be careful with how many decisions you make.
How many shits you give?
Yes, absolutely, because you
Literally.
run out. You run out of them.
This is
Yes.
true.
So I liked not having to waste time in my mind saying, well, what should I have? I want this, but I can't have that. Maybe I can have this instead. And then you just have that dancing in your head all day. It's like I didn't want that turmoil. I just
Yeah.
wanted calmness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted calmness in my misery.
So funny.
Yes. So, but since the last podcast, we did travel up to Toronto.
I was sick the whole damn time.
Yes, I was going to say, like, so how was that trip?
Oh my god. Which is one of the reasons why we didn't record last week.
Yes.
Because I sounded awful. I was exhausted.
Yeah, you were wrecked.
It
So-
wasn't COVID, but it was basically I could feel a sinus infection coming on and emailed the doctor and I said, Toronto is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I don't have COVID. It's negative. I need something.
Yeah, give me the good stuff.
Yeah. So I got the Z-Pack and spent the whole trip sick.
Yep.
Survived.
Yes, you did.
But I missed out on all the like activities and I was excited to go see Toronto to see Toronto.
Yeah, we got to go to a mall.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. That doesn't normally sound right, but that mall is pretty like badass.
Yeah. Yorkville.
Yorkville.
It was either Yorkville or Yorkdale Mall. Yeah, it was
Ah.
very, very nice.
Yes.
But it was, if I don't get out of this room, I think I might lose my mind. We need to
Absolutely.
do something.
Yeah, so you masked up and we just
did.
went and stayed away from everybody, which we normally do anyhow.
Very easy. Nothing new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was interesting is we noticed how much your metabolism was higher while being sick.
Wretched.
Yes.
I can't believe I forgot to mention that. I was starving. Starving.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yes.
Absolutely wretchedly hungry. Where what was it the night before we left? I said, I need a snack.
Yeah.
I need it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were scouring the pantry looking for something I could eat, technically.
Yes. Yeah, our snacks, so Meredith is aiming for around 1,400 calories a day.
Yeah.
And that's around 600 to 1,000 below what our estimated maintenance is.
Yeah.
And that's quite a large range, but that's given whether we, weight train that day, don't weight train that day. There's some variability to it, but we know that you have some leeway where if you are really ravenous, we can eat something, and it's not going to take us out of a fat loss deficit.
Yeah.
Now, just to be safe, we do stay away from dietary fats. And the benefit there is if you're going to eat, eating protein helps because it repairs muscle tissue and does a lot of stuff in the body. And then if you were to eat carbs in any excess, it gets stored as glycogen before it would get stored as body fat. Whereas dietary fats, once you hit an excess, they have nowhere to be stored. They get stored as fat.
Yeah.
So when we look for snacks, we look for like extra rice cakes, extra fruit or vegetables, maybe a protein shake. We look for protein and carb-based items.
Yeah. That aren't really fun.
No, unfortunately. Like, you're not going to, chow down on some rice cakes.
I did because I had to.
Yeah, you did, but that's not a normal thing.
But I was so hungry, and I haven't broken the diet.
Oh, no. You've not gotten out of a deficit
I haven't cracked.
this entire 27 weeks.
Right. But when I was sick, that was like pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it wasn't in my head because I'm very in tune with myself.
Yes, you are.
And I knew I was truly hungry. It wasn't even I'm dieting, I'm hungry. It is, I am starving.
It was
Famished.
above normal. Like, you've
Way
been
above.
dieting for so long now, you know what a normal diet hunger is. And it's similar to like when a woman would have her period.
Right.
Like the time leading up to the period, the time of the period, your metabolism is higher. It's like metabolically, you can test that. So like when I used to teach exercise physiology classes, we would do those like breath tests for metabolism and stuff. And you could that is something that you could test with a breathalyzer test. It is true is when you're on your period, your rate of calorie burn is going to be higher. Mm-hmm. And same thing with a cold. Your body's trying to fight off the cold.
My body was working hard to get rid of whatever that was.
Absolutely.
And I felt that hunger.
Yes. So your normal, let's just say it was 1,000 calorie deficit, was actually more like 1,200 to 1,300. And that's where you felt that 200, 300 calorie difference, which for your intake level, that's a significant difference. That's a meal or at least like a half of a meal. Difference. So that's quite a bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we even went, one of the nights we walked to Insomnia Cookies.
Yeah, that was neat to see.
And I got a gluten-free chocolate chip cookie, and it was amazing and perfect.
Yes, gluten-free and vegan.
I don't think it was vegan. I think it was gluten-free.
Okay, yeah.
The vegan were to the left.
The
gluten-free was... There was one cookie.
One gluten-free option, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and that was only 230 calories. Mm-hmm. So that was probably less calories than what you were burning trying to fight off the cold.
Absolutely was.
Yeah.
But I ate that thing as slow as freaking possible.
To enjoy it?
Yeah. I even took a bite and then waited and put it down and waited and tried to keep up like your pace.
Yeah.
Because your cookie was much bigger and it had ice cream on it.
Yes, that sounds like I'm an evil, cruel soul to have eaten that in front of you.
I had a cookie.
But you actually didn't mind and you encouraged me. Yes.
Of course not. Even if I didn't have a cookie, I wouldn't have minded.
Yeah, and we're both actually that way. It's like, if you can do something that makes you happy, go for it. Like, just because I'm dieting doesn't mean you have to diet.
Yeah,
like,
just because I'm miserable doesn't mean you have to be miserable.
Absolutely. That's never made sense to us, but I have been around people before.
I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, I won't eat unless you're eating.
Yeah, or like, I can't have this stuff, like, so why do you even have it in the house? It's like, well, just because it's in the house doesn't mean you're going to eat it. Like, but come on now.
A lot of people, I'm pointing around like people are in the house.
Thankfully, they're not.
Yeah. But a lot of people will, like, apologize to me if they're eating in front of me.
Well, that's because maybe they're the person who does mind.
And I said, like, and I tell them, I said, this is my choice. It's okay.
Yeah.
Number one, I am celiac, so
True.
I already can't eat a shit ton of food.
Yeah.
That everybody's always eating around me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped me build up a tolerance for that over
my
lifetime. And then it's just like, that's part of it's part of the grit. It's part of what you just need to do to diet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, refine that part too.
Yeah, it's mental. It gets mental toughness if it's not a natural thing for you. Some people, like, over the years training all the people we've trained, like, some people are the same way as us, as they don't, like, if somebody's eating pizza next to me, I'm like, good for you. Pizza's delicious. I hope you enjoy it. But I could care less, Some people have that naturally. Others, they're like, get this out of my face. This is ridiculous. How rude are you?
Right.
And if that's the type of mentality you have, then that would be the grit part. Like, you got to be a little mentally tougher. Yeah, and work on that.
Yeah. That's just not a healthy place to be, period.
No. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because it's interesting is, this is getting into, like, way off topic, but this might not be true. But often I've found is the people who, if they're miserable, they want everybody else around them to, like, account for that. If they're doing great, they don't seem to care if other people are doing great.
Correct.
They're just like, hey, I'm doing great, good for me. And it's like, well, why does all of a sudden does the other person not care now?
Little egocentric a bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just offended half the people, probably. And it won't be the first time you're offended.
You always say, if you think it's about you, it is.
Yeah, that's true. If I'm worried about offending people, this is 2,198 podcasts too late. Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else, because I was 2 weeks. Normally we do it every week, but I was sick and we were traveling.
And then this past week we were home and just trying to get back in the groove of things.
Oh, yeah. Thanksgiving and your birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a week to come back to.
Yeah. So Thanksgiving, and my birthday was on Thanksgiving. So woot, woot, woot. That was fun. Yeah.
So we celebrated that. And I made you a cake.
Yes,
and
thank you very much.
I got to have a little bit of that cake.
Yes.
Do you want to explain the cake?
It's chocolate with extra chocolate with raspberries with extra chocolate. I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to give some extra detail to it, though?
It was a chocolate cake with the mega chocolate chunks.
Yes.
And then I made a vanilla raspberry like buttercream frosting.
Mm-hmm.
And I had raspberry drizzle.
Yep.
It was like a Harry and David kind of like piping
Yes.
gel goo stuff, delicious. And then a chocolate frosting that hardens to the like a Hershey bar.
Yes.
That's just really, really decadent.
It's super rich. Yeah. I think it's made from coconut oil fats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a extra
I had to
richness.
curate all of these ingredients to where you can eat it and I can eat it.
Yes, because we want it to be gluten-free, but also can't have canola oil because I'm allergic to canola oil.
Yeah. A lot of stuff has that.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Like, unfortunately, a lot of crossover between like gluten-free things will have a lot of canola oil.
Weird, right?
Yeah, because we tried to eat similar foods in the early part of our relationship, and I was getting sick all the time. And it's like I can't be allergic to gluten-free.
That's what it was for a while. Like I don't believe I am gluten-free intolerant.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. Yeah, it's like I have to have gluten in my food.
Yeah, that was really funny until we could actually figure that out.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I'm 132.5 pounds, which I was bummed about, but you're happy about it.
Yeah, because you're the same weight as we were getting on stage in our competition. Yeah. But you're not at all depleted. It's a random day. It was a random Friday. And we took photos, and you clearly are leaner,
different.
even in just 2 weeks.
So in 2 weeks, those photos were different. Like, I saw a difference.
Yeah, and when the person can see a difference on themselves, that's when you know it was actually really significant.
Yeah, so why am I the same weight?
Oh, that's fun. It's going to be related to water retention, because at this point you're not really gaining muscle tissue. So we don't have anything that would, like, what can cause us our weight to go up? And that would be food in our system that we just ate or haven't digested yet, fully yet, water retention, glycogen storage, or added muscle tissue. And we know it's not muscle tissue. We know it's not glycogen because you don't have enough extra calories.
So water.
Yeah, so it's just water. And that's going to be related to when we weighed in to get on stage, we had taken some uva ursi and some natural diuretics, and that's what you weighed was 132.4 with the diuretics in place. So now you have no diuretics, you have more of a normal water retention, and you're 132.5.
Right.
So essentially the same. Yeah. But now it's with the water that you would normally have had in your system.
That's true.
So if you would have been like the 132.4 like stage weight, if we would not have water depleted, you might have been like 133.5 or even 134. So now it's like, okay, wow, we're down like 1.5 pounds from that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've lost a lot of fat. You're looking really good.
Thank you.
You know, everything's on on course, on path. I don't know. We're
track.
going the right direction. There you go. We're on something.
That's for sure.
It's going the way we want. But so we still have another week yet. Oh my gosh, is it next
2
week?
weeks.
2 weeks? Okay, I was gonna say that doesn't sound right.
Are you okay today?
I don't know. But we got 2 weeks of fat loss more to go, which will be fun because we'll continue to see some difference.
I'm lowering the heat. I'm sitting here dying. It's 72 degrees.
Oh, that's ridiculous. But we do we do have some travel coming up again. So basically how we manage traveling is when possible we buy the same foods as we can.
Oh yeah.
So in Toronto I went to Walmart and bought like Greek yogurt, rice cakes, and chicken and rice.
That chicken was the shit.
That chicken was good. It was like shredded deli chicken.
That was delicious.
Yeah, it was way better than typical
I was surprised.
deli meats. Yeah. So we'll do the same thing when we travel this next time, is trying to buy the same foods. If we can't buy the same foods, then we just try to match calories and protein.
Yeah.
And then you just try to eat good quality food.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to try to get 1,400 calories of pizza and ice cream.
No, I'm giving myself grace because the only goal is just to say I got on stage at a national show.
Well, that
to look
was
better.
Yeah.
But
like we started the year with, do you think we could compete? That was kind of the beginning of the year, was like, do you think I could do a show this year? And we're like, hell yeah. And then we were like, well, it'd be pretty cool if we could get to a national, since I've done nationals with
When we say
women's
beginning
physique.
of the year, do you mean June?
Yes, when we started the diet.
May? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't work out until April of this year.
That's true. Yeah, you had your second workout of the year in April.
Yep.
Yeah, so when we started the goal of this diet, the first ever goal was just, do you think I could compete? And then we're like, hell yeah, why not? And then as we started progressing, we're like, hey, since you've competed at a national level before in women's physique, it would be pretty cool to be able to qualify for nationals in a different division. So then that became the goal. So our goals have already been met, as we have competed and we did qualify. We didn't start this process with the intent of like going to win nationals or anything.
No.
And that we knew that was unrealistic, given that we haven't been able to train for muscle growth
I haven't even trained in
for
5 years.
4.5, 5 years. Yeah.
So whatever's getting uncovered during this prep was there.
Yeah, it's whatever was left from the last time you got to have a serious, like 6+ months of weight training for muscle growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're very happy with how everything's been progressing.
Very
being
happy.
excited.
I feel so much more like myself.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to look in the mirror and be like, hey, this isn't too bad.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
40 pounds later.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you'll be turning 40. That was the other, like, one of the motivators.
Just like totally let that slip past.
Yeah. One of the other motivators is you're turning 40 in December. So that was another motivator to get in great shape.
Yeah. I want to look good when I'm 40. I don't want to turn 40 and be depressed and be like, who is this person? I don't know this person.
Yeah.
Putting everybody else first and myself last.
Yeah. And that's been a good change this year, is prioritizing yourself and, like you said, just start to look in the mirror and be like, oh, hey, there I am.
Yeah.
There you are again.
There you are.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. So I'm very happy for you. So it's already been a success. So nationals is just for fun.
Yeah. And so to say that, like if I'm starving and I have a 50-calorie rice cake, I'm not going to lose it or beat myself up.
Yeah. Like you're saying, as if we were going for a pro card, you'd have a little more pressure on yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Reasonable.
I would be meticulous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little less meticulous because I also want to save my mental health.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't ever do this with the intent of sacrificing any aspect of health.
No.
So yeah, so everything we do, like protecting your metabolism through the diet, everything we do is trying to, how can we end this experience in a healthy place, not just get to the finish line.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm happy.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
Not, like we said, not sacrificing health, and a lot of other people do to get to the national level.
Oh, people do just for regional shows. Like women lose their periods, they have huge major rebounds. They'll some women even start to lose their hair. Their hair thins out in diets and stuff because they're so depleted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of mental health gets lost.
Yeah, I saw my period. I had cramps the other day. Chocolate cake was amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yes. But there are ways, absolutely, to get somebody in shape and do shows where you don't have the physical loss of health or the emotional, mental loss.
And I
of
didn't
health.
think there was. Right? I didn't think there was a way to get on stage and have everything intact. That was just.
That's not the norm, unfortunately. It's 100% possible, and trainers should do it the right way, but they don't, because it just takes a little more knowledge and it doesn't even take more effort. It just takes more awareness of how the body works.
Crappy.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think, what other highlights?
Trying to think. That's basically everything I had in my notes. Is like one concept I wanted to touch on was like Thanksgiving. We had the benefit of my birthday being like a quote unquote excuse for how to structure the day. Mm-hmm. But you and I both don't care too much about like the foods of Thanksgiving.
Do not give a shit.
Yeah. So we're not big. I don't know. Like we enjoy food, but I'm not motivated to like pig out on a random Thursday on turkey and stuffing.
No.
So what we did was we just, told family, hey, we'll see you, after the big meal, kind of mid-afternoon between meals. And that's a nice way to...
We're on a different day.
Yeah. That's a nice way to visit without food being the focus of the visit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. There were so many... Well, that'll be a separate podcast, but there's
Let's touch on it now, if you want.
Yeah. it'll be a long one to talk about other activities you can do aside from having food centric.
Mm-hmm.
But realizing, being in the holiday season, how food centric everything is.
Oh, absolutely.
Just unreal. It's almost like uncomfortable.
It's really, it seems really hard to avoid, and a lot of people feel offended. Like a lot of people give love through food.
Oh, yeah.
So if you deny food, they get offended. Like I remember growing up, like my mom and dad, they'll know this because it's the truth and we went through this over the years. But when I first started dieting, when I was, say 16, 17, 18, is like I might show up to dinner and say I don't want something. And then they would say like, well, what do you do? What do you mean? Like we bought this for you. And it's like, well, I didn't ask you to buy it for me. And I'm not eating it because it's not matching my goals.
Yeah.
And thankfully, my parents did understand. My mom eventually did 3 bodybuilding shows. She's done over 10 powerlifting meets, which all involve dieting and making weight cuts. So now they're 100% supportive. But that was definitely a struggle at first, was getting them to realize that, you can love me without trying to feed me. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people get offended.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we were talking about how to make like holiday events or family events, like non-food related. Like one of the clients said that their family gets together for breakfast on Thanksgiving, and they used to go for like a turkey trot, like a little bit of a run or a hike.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the older generation got too old and out of shape, so they don't do that anymore. So now all of a sudden, the younger generation doesn't do it anymore.
They're just gonna do it.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a bummer. That was a nice. To me, that would have been a great tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Is to like, hey, let's have a breakfast and go for a walk. How cool is that?
Yeah, I dated someone where like on Thanksgiving the whole family did a turkey trot, like
Oh, that's cool.
5K or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can walk like a K, but I'm not running any Ks.
Mm-hmm. But I liked that way better because again, I don't give a shit about the food.
Yeah.
And God, to just sit around and eat all day, like.
Yeah. It's some people's dream, but not ours. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But it'll be nice, like, after your show in Nationals, then will be, like, Christmas holidays and stuff like that, and then there won't be as much pressure of balancing a diet on top of, family trips and travels. And
I get my birthday cake.
Yeah.
One for me and one for everybody else.
Yeah. So we explained my cake. Let's explain what your cake is.
Oh, yeah. I make, I use the gluten-free funfetti. I think because I couldn't have it as a kid, like now as an adult, I love it.
Yeah.
And then whipped buttercream frosting, and in the middle is a layer of Reese's peanut butter chips.
Yeah, those are delicious.
Which don't knock it till you try it because it's delicious on that cake.
Absolutely.
And then the whole cake is coated in frosting and then sprinkles, so much so that you can't see the frosting.
It looks like you have a plate of sprinkles.
A bowl of it, yeah.
Yes.
It's perfect. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's perfect. So mine is very vanilla, and yours is all chocolate.
Yep. That's one of the very few places we differ.
Mm-hmm.
Although your cake does taste delicious, and I do enjoy a piece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's actually, if you think about it, it works out because we're not fighting over your cake and you're not fighting over my cake.
That's true. But if you liked my cake, I'll just give it to you. We just make 2.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's good. I'm looking forward to it, and we want to host Christmas dinner this year, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna be actual adults and host a holiday.
If Daisy doesn't eat all the food.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, little baby girl.
Yeah. So it'll be good. I like enjoying good food, as long as I'm eating what I want, which is why we want to host, because then we get what we want. Yeah,
because we can make steak, or something if we want. Yeah.
We have beef for Christmas dinner.
Absolutely.
So that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's essentially what we've been doing the last 2 weeks, is just surviving. A little bit of travel, a little bit of home stuff, and then nothing has changed in nutrition and training in the last 2 weeks, and I'm not planning on changing anything the whole way to Nationals, because your hunger is in a good place, the body transformation is in a good place.
Yeah, and like you said, it's still a really good sign that I'm starving.
Absolutely. So we've talked before about how cortisol, when the body's stressed, sometimes you'll find okay, I didn't change anything in my food in my training, but all of a sudden I have this weird manic energy, or all of a sudden I don't seem to care about food. That is actually a bad sign because it typically means cortisol is being produced to a great degree. And when cortisol is high, body fat loss will be low. So you want to be able to adjust for that. And you've been doing a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's it. Anything you want to add to it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because the majority of legs next.
Yeah, so we get to do legs today, and we're still doing our normal, like, upper body, lower body every other day kind of thing. Still no cardio, which is great.
Yeah, wild, right?
Yeah. She'll end up going the whole way to nationals without doing any cardio.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
very nice to know that that's not necessary.
True.
Yes.
Eating pasta.
Yep. So it'll be fun. So I think the next check-in will probably actually be after nationals, due to all the traveling we have to do in the next 2 weeks.
We'll be coming home on the Saturday, and then families. Yeah, after.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll check in, and if you follow us on Instagram, you can follow Meredith on Mermerwitfit, so MERMERWITFIT. So you can follow her there. And then also her account is tagged on the top of the Brutal Iron Gym account. So you'll see it there as well. But you can follow us on Brutal Iron Gym, on Mermerwitfit, see all the photos along the way, and share in the Nationals fun. And then we'll give a recap whenever we get back.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And then if anybody has any questions or if you need anything, just reach out or email us brutalirongym@gmail.com. If you like the podcast, please share the podcast. If you like the podcast, you can donate by either supporting the podcast through a donation on the website, or we actually do have a partnership now with Nutricost.com, which is a supplement store. And you can go to their website before December 4th is when their Black Friday sale ends. But before that, you can use the code RobertBF40 for a 40% discount on supplements. So Robert's my first name, and BF stands for Black Friday, so RobertBF40. You can go to Nutricost.com, use that code, you get a 40% discount, and then a 10% commission of anything you buy gets sent to us. So that's how it's kind of like a donation to us to help the podcast continue to go. And then if you want to find any more information from us, you can find it on our social media channels on Instagram and YouTube under the name Brutal Iron Gym. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.